What if the easiest meal in your house was also the healthiest? Usually in my home, fast food means instant ramen or something I can microwave real quick that I got from Trader Joe's, or some kind of like cauliflower pizza from Costco. Like, that's usually my very fast food that I can eat. But today I'm going to teach you how to freeze meals at the peak of freshness so that you can lock in texture and flavor, and you're never more than 5 minutes away from a super easy and healthy home cooked fresh meal, even on the busiest of days. You all loved my first frozen meal prep video, and some of you guys requested Asian food meal prep. So today I'm going to show you how to turn your freezer into a modular Korean cafeteria from nutrient-dense lentil purple rice, soothing soybean paste stew, cabbage beef enoki rolls, super high protein gochujang rice bowl, and some Japanese curry that just tastes as fresh as the day you made them. There is something so soothing and like aesthetically pleasing to look at about a perfectly organized freezer. So I'm going to show you how to make some of my favorite Asian meal prep classics using a modular system that eliminates food waste and also decision fatigue. Let's get started.
Every great Korean meal starts with the grain. Instead of plain white rice, we're making a high protein, high fiber lentil purple rice. Normally, I would use farro with this mix, but I ran out of it. I'm usually really good about restocking things in my kitchen, but it must have slipped my mind. I'm using a mix of short grain white rice, black rice for that beautiful purple hue, and some green lentils. Give it a wash with a combination of straining a total of 3 to 4 times. And some people ask me about how much water they should be adding into their rice mixtures, and I usually do a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you're using 3 cups of rice total, then I would add in 3 cups of clean water. If it's 4 cups of rice, then it's 4 cups of water. Now we'll make the rice in my rice cooker, something that my grandma bought me as my wedding present, and I'll continue to meal prep the rest of the stuff.
Before we move on with the rest of the video, I did want to talk about the mental load of eating right. Most of you guys know me for my love of food. I mean, I'm sharing all my recipes. I'm showing you guys what I eat in a day, and also just sharing the joys of being in the kitchen. But if I have to be honest, for a while, especially with infertility, it actually started to feel less like joy and more like a high stakes puzzle that I couldn't solve. I couldn't help feeling overwhelmed with Googling different things and fertility diets and all these, different things I can eat to possibly get pregnant this month. I realized that I was doing all of this without seeking professional help. I was just seeking the help of Google. And that's why I want to introduce you guys to Nourish, because that's something that I have just started actually. And I want to tell you all about it because it's amazing. Nourish is more than just an app. It's not just a tracker, it's a bridge to actual medical expertise. It connects me with a registered dietitian who specifically understands what my goals are, how I can accomplish these goals, and she even helps me out with hormone health and fertility. I actually did just get off the phone call with my dietitian, and she's literally the sweetest. Even with my first appointment with her, where I was just walking her through my day and telling her what I eat for meals, including snacks and dessert, I was able to just even wonder, like, why do I need to finish all the food off my plate? We didn't just talk about calories, fiber intake, and protein intake for the day. We also talked about inflammation, blood sugar balance, and egg quality and cycle support. So I feel like all these dietitians, they can meet you at where you're at, depending on what your goals are. They truly just want the best for you, which is to understand nutrition and do what's best for your body. And what's the best part? It's almost always covered by insurance. The app keeps me grounded because I have AI meal logging where I can take pictures, put it up, and it can give me a very It's not going to be the most accurate, but it can tell you the macros. And it's also a good way for myself to keep track of what I ate, but also for my dietitian to see that too. There's also direct messaging on there. So if I have a question, if I'm at a grocery store and I have a question, I can message her. She may or may not get back to me in time, but the fact that I have someone to reach out to directly is like a lifesaver. I really feel that Nourish turned my nutrition from a state of stress to a tool for advocacy. It gave me a plan, a professional in my corner, and most importantly, peace of mind. If you've been feeling overwhelmed with your nutrition journey, I highly recommend checking Nourish out. I will have a link down below in my caption, so feel free to check that out and use that link to register yourself, or even just try it out and just do one session, because Nourish is a personalized care that will actually fit into your busy life. We'll continue on with the video.
If you watch my videos enough, you know that cabbage, beef, and enoki rolls is constantly on repeat on this channel. I absolutely love this, especially in times like this when I'm doing IVF and trying to eat a little healthier by doing low carb but high protein. This is my ultimate kitchen insurance policy. Thinly slice up some cabbage first. Some people like to wash these before cutting it, but I personally think cutting it first and then washing it is the best way to get in between and thoroughly clean it. I'll put this in the strainer and wash it super well, and make sure to give your cutting board and knife a good clean too. Because next I'm going to roll up some beef and enoki rolls. Normally I roll them up, but today I'm going to be using these frozen beef rolls from Costco to stuff them with enoki. After we do that, we'll go ahead and put them in our handy dandy silicone super cube molds to create a nice portion size. I love how the beef fits perfectly in, even though some of the enoki was kind of sticking out. And while I do that, I'm gonna be moving on to my favorite prep of this video, and it's soybean paste stew, which is dwenjang jjigae in Korean. This is the ultimate comfort food. This is something newer in my frozen soup rotation, but I like to make a batch of these pre-washed and pre-cut veggies so that it reduces half the prepping time when I'm craving the soup, which is pretty often. The only veggies I like to put in my stew are onion, zucchini, and green onions with a lot of tofu. Some people like to add radish or potatoes in it, but I like mine pretty simple with occasional chadol in there, which I will do later on. Freezing soup in cubes is a total game changer. Looks like the rice is done. I will do the quick mix to make sure that all the rice gets mixed up well. And then I will put these into molds and freeze it. But make sure that the rice is completely cooled before freezing it. While I let the rice cool down, I'm gonna go ahead and assemble my soybean paste stew kit. So I will go ahead and lay down the onions first, then the zucchini, and then the tofu, and finish off with the green onions. The order honestly doesn't matter. Whatever you feel like doing first. But I'll go ahead, put the lid on and freeze it. Once everything is frozen solid, I pop them out of the molds and put them into labeled freezer bags. It feels like playing a game of Tetris. When I have these freezer bags, I feel like I have 5 different meals ready to go, but I'm not tied to a rigid schedule. If I want curry on Monday and soybean soup on Tuesday, I can have it. No food waste, no science projects growing in the back of the fridge. I mean, let me show you how I reheat the soybean paste soup.
Beef and rice.
When you're sick or just tired, you just pop a cube of stewed veggies into a pot. All you need to do is add water and soybean paste, and dinner is served in 10 minutes. It's like a hug from your future self. Soybean pastes are made so well these days that you don't even have to make your own kelp and anchovy broth. The paste itself is sufficient. So this is like one of the easiest stews, but I made this for lunch on this particular day along with some other banchan. and it was a meal that was done so quickly, but it feels like I put in so much effort. Now for the heavy hitters, Japanese curry is the king of meal prep because the flavors actually get better as it sits. This day I was at my sister's and now I continuously make my Japanese curry like I will show you in this video. Have you ever made Japanese curry at home and it just doesn't hit the same as Japanese restaurants? Forget just boiling water and roux. We're building layers by using grated apple, Worcestershire sauce, ketchup, and honey. I'm loading mine with big chunks of potatoes, carrots, and onions, and the main protein will be ground beef. Caramelizing onions is the main key because it creates depth and a nice sweet flavor. Once it's somewhat golden brown, add in the veggies that you prepped. Oh, and I also had leftover chickpeas in the freezer, so I decided to throw that in as well. Now add in your water, grated apple, Worcestershire sauce, ketchup, and honey. I actually added way too much water in here, so I had to add some more curry powder that I keep at all times in case of times like this. Corn is something I like to add, but I didn't have it in my sister's pantry, but it adds subtle sweetness and a little pop every time you get it in your spoonful of rice and curry. Make sure you chop off your curry blocks so that it melts in well, and then once the potatoes are fully cooked, you're ready to serve. I clearly made too much here, so now we're going to freeze this into our super cube molds because curry is honestly such a hearty and delicious meal whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I decided to throw in all my leftovers for this bowl. I had leftover frozen pork in the freezer, some celery, and broccoli lying around in my fridge, along with some leftover onion from the soybean paste stew. For this dish, we're sauteing garlic with some onions, and then throwing in our ground pork to this. Once the pork is somewhat brown, let's add in the rest of our veggies. So I have my celery, my broccoli, and you can't forget chickpeas. I don't know why I always have leftover chickpeas. And for the sauce, we're going to be doing a little bit of bachan sauce along with my grandma's homemade gochujang. This gochujang is like a magic gochujang. It's amazing. I think she adds garlic in here, like a very small amount, and it's so good. This dish is something that is honestly so easy and a really great way to get rid of your leftovers. Once this cools, I'll go ahead and portion this out so that I can freeze it in this super cube mold. In order to make it organized, colorful, and to give off a fancy cooking feel, preheat this with rice in the microwave, and that's all there is to it. You're taking a few hours on a Sunday to buy yourself peace of mind for the next month. Or you can just make a little extra throughout the week so you can have a little bit of freedom on a random Wednesday. If you're tired of throwing away leftovers and want your kitchen to work for you instead of the other way around, give this investing method a try. Your future hungry self will definitely thank you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.